Good morning, my trippy hippies. It is Tammy, your hometown hippie. Oh my! This shirt is straight out of the dryer, y'all, and this literally is like butters and oils from cooking. I wear an apron, but sometimes they just still get dirty. Red told me, he's like, "Good morning, Dennis." He's like, "You should save one shirt you don't work in," but I'm glad that Dennis jumped on it because I said I am saving a shirt that I don't work in, and it's going to be my higher than giraffe hoo ha shirt that I am not going to work in. So as you jump on here this morning, give me a grateful fed in the comments and say hello and tell us where you're watching from. I am fresh out of the shower this morning. I've already been up and at 'em. I got hair doing all kinds of stuff. But we are got a lot of work to do today. As you can see behind me over here and I don't know how to do this right here. That right there, that right there. That is today's run list. So let's see what's on today's run list. And it's interesting because um, I feel like oatmeal cream pies and brownies are very much like they go in batches. And the last couple of days have been brownies and oatmeal cream pies. So it's just interesting how that runs out. So today we have to do the filling for oatmeal cream pies because I ran out of products yesterday. I ran out of butter completely. Like, I don't have a stick of butter in this house that is not cannabis butter. Um, so we're going to do the fillings for that today. We're going to do chocolate chip cookies, which I've already made. I just have to dough out, like ball out and bake. We have a specialty birthday cake today, um, which is our 5 flavor pound cake, which I'm super excited about. And we have our caramels to do today. And then I could like take a deep breath and look at the week and kind of sit back and make a plan going into next week. The 1st of August, get some animal crackers made and kind of get things moving forward. Good morning, Miss Heather. Good morning, Dennis. So I wanted to say good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Wake and Bake Live. What in the world is up today, right? What are y'all up to today? It is Feel Good Friday. We are about 1 week into our new like format kind of on our in the group. Are y'all liking the daily topic post? Tell me what you think about the new topics on the new, you know, like Feel Good Friday and Welcome Wednesday and Thankful Thursday. How is that feeling to everybody? Because it's our group and I want to make sure everybody is enjoying that. I'm loving the fact that we're seeing people who have never had a chance to interact before, who have never felt comfortable doing that. We are seeing a lot of new faces, so I want to welcome everybody for that. And speaking of welcome, and speaking of, I completely flaked on Wednesday night, y'all. I completely flaked. So Wednesday night, I had said that I would do a drawing for everybody who checked in on the Welcome Wednesday post. Um, and I forgot that I thought that my Reiki study hall was at 9 o'clock. I don't know, 9:30. I do not know why. I did not realize it was at 8:30 on Wednesday night. So I kind of felt rushed on our What's Up Wednesday night live, but it's okay. All things happen like they're supposed to. So we're going to go ahead and move that Welcome Wednesday post. What I will do is we're going to do the bingo night, which is the first Wednesday, which will be next Wednesday night. So a week from this coming Wednesday will be our game night, which will be we'll play, if you have bingo cards, we'll play the bingo cards. And we'll also do our top contributor for the prior month. We will also take everyone who does testimonial Tuesdays for the entire prior month. They'll go into a bucket for a prize. So that first Wednesday night of the month is going to be a big prize night. And then the rest of the Wednesday nights, you're going to be able to win bingo cards to be able to play that first game. So I'm trying to make things a little bit more streamlined because the harder they are and the more like days I have to do things, the less likely we are me getting it done. And it feels overwhelming and then I just don't want to do it. So let's just be honest about it, right? So for me to be able to handle it, we're going to do we'll still have random weekend. We still owe a weekend drawing for a T-shirt. So we got to still do that. We said for them now through the end of the month for all orders placed from last week through the end of the month. We did a $50 sample pack this month. We're also going to do this T-shirt giveaway. So you've got, I guess, another day or two to get that order in if you've not done so already to get into the drawing for the T-shirt. We are going to be able to make a nice donation to the kids going to play ball. The Buckingham children are already there, and it looks like they got all of their needs met plus some. I am going to reach out today to the Cumberland state champion, to this Virginia State Champions Cumberland, which is my alma mater and the kids that I came home with. And if they've already raised the money they need to go, what I want to do is I want to sponsor a welcome home party for them, like a pizza party for the kids, win or lose, right? And I want to just let them know that, I was once a kid who was playing little league sports in Cumberland. I played for the school and we were the state champions. It was the first time we ever won the state championship in the high school. And as a small school from a rural county in Virginia, sometimes you don't ever think that you'll be the one who it's kind of like the underdog story, like the Bad News Bears. Anybody remember those movies? Oh, I love that. I know now when I get a notification from Hometown Hippie that it is important and has substance and will be uplifting, filled with intentions. I love that. I love that so very much. So yeah, I'm gonna do something for these kids coming back if we can't do it for them getting down there. And then we're going to take some of the money that we raised this week. As I said, 10% is going to these kids. And we're going to find ways to get that money to them in some shape, fashion, or form, be it a pizza party from the Grateful Fed with a little words of encouragement like, hey, your community poured into you because we believe in you. And what I want the kids to take away from that and what I want them to see from that, because they're kids. And it's not going to be some big, like love and light message. You have to meet them where they are. What I want the kids to hear is that when I was going to school and I was playing sports and I was being brought up in this little small rural community. I can't say it in this way to these kids because they're kids. I'm gonna like sometimes we didn't have a pot to piss in and want to throw it out the window. We were always rich though. And that's what I say to people. I'm like, we didn't have a lot of monetary things, but I never knew that I wasn't rich because my parents loved me. And we had everything we needed because we were well supported and well loved and well cared for. Um, we always had a hot meal. We always had a roof over our heads. And we always had the things that we needed. We didn't always get the things that we wanted, right? But we also learned that even if we didn't get the things that we wanted, right? That we could if we work for them. Like they weren't out of reach. They were just not. If you want them, you got to work a little harder. We don't have the means to it, but what you want is within reach. You're welcome to go out and strive to get those things. We were always supported in going out to earn the things that we wanted and to understand that we couldn't point at it and get it. But if we wanted something, my dad would say, if you want it bad enough, then do the work to get it. It's possible. There's something somebody wants you to do, work for it, right? And so as a kid, when people are telling you that, right, to work for it and to roll your sleeves up, and if you want it, you got to put in the work for it. You get like, oh, they just don't want to give it to me. You get overwhelmed. You're like, I want it now. I want it now. But when you grow up, you realize that is how you start. Sports, I believe, 100% is how you learn work ethic, right? You learn how to work as a team. You learn how to look out for your neighbor, right? Because it takes everybody on that team to do it. And I am so grateful for not getting everything that I ever wanted by pointing at it. I'm so glad that I was taught to work for things. But what I want to tell those kids is that as a kid growing up in this little small town, I looked out into the big old world, and I didn't have all the technology that they have. Like I didn't see it, right? I just assumed it was a much bigger world out there. I saw it on TV because we didn't have cell phones or any of that stuff. But whenever something happened in the community, whether it be wins or losses, right? Whatever it was that happened in this little hometown of mine, you had your community, right, cheering you on or lifting you up. I see it every day in this little town, and as much as we want to complain about how people are awful people and the world is going to shit in a is it hell in a handbasket, as people would say, hell in a handbag, right? Um, when you take your sights from like national and take it into the, and that's what the power of one means to me, right? Because if you stop looking, if you look in your hometown, you're going to see a lot of hometown heroes, a lot of people that step up and are there for each other. When somebody gets sick, they organize meal trains. When somebody is on a, maybe a reality show, we've had a couple little like people on singing shows and some other little like fun shows. They will get in there and ask you to vote for them and support them. And when kids get the world, you get to go to the World Series, they step up and they do, like, they donate items to be able to raffle off, and they donate proceeds, and they find ways in which they can help support the community. So what I want these kids to see is I want them to understand that it takes a village, and that they see that their village right now, they see their village stepping up for them. They see people coming out and saying, good job, guys and girls. Because there's a girl on the team too. I'm super excited about that. It's not just the boys. Um, that there's female coaches on this team. I'm just loving this all over the place, right? And I want them to see that it takes a village and that their village is stepping up. And when they grow up and they do amazing things, which I know that they will, I want them to remember their little small town. Because in another day and another time, 30 years, 40 years from now, like me, you're going to be back at home and you're going to have the opportunity maybe. And if you don't, you can find opportunities to step up and help other kids when you grow up. And I want them to remember their village so that they become somebody else's village as they grow older, and that they don't forget their village, and that they appreciate their village. Um, and so I definitely want to go out and do a little something. I'm going to reach out today, see how I can do that. So I want to thank all of you who have shopped with me over the last week. We have raised about $200 to give to these kids. So I'm super excited about that. I am super excited about that. I'm the neighborhood safe place. I have fed hungry children and elderly for the third generation. Now I'm in an urban area, but they need love too. Everybody needs love, right? And even in urban areas, and I think in a lot of urban areas, it's neighborhood kids, right? And you said neighborhood's a safe space, right? And that's the thing, right? So everybody has their own village, and how their village looks different. It might be a subdivision. It might be your cul-de-sac. It might be the street you grew up on. It might, and in my rural community, if you are in the same county, you're country neighbors, because we're all like a mile away from each other because it's distance, right? So like Melanie Lewis and I live approximately the same area that I lived when I grew up. Like I'm about 10 miles, maybe not even 10 miles. I say I'm really close. Like I'm like 7, 8 minutes from like the house that I grew up in. My sister still lives in my grandparents' house. Melanie still lives in the general vicinity. We went to school together, and we're probably 45-minute drive from each other. She's on the other end of the county. Like we say that our Cumberland County is surrounded by other counties, and I'm like, Melanie lives on the Cartersville end of the county, which is out by Goochland and Louisa. I live in the Farmville side of the county, which is down here by Prince Edward County. Good morning, good morning, good morning. But we were all a village, right? We were all, and so many of you went to school with me. And yesterday it was funny because Donna came in, Donna Hayslip, and she was like, "You remember that time you came to the ballpark?" I'm like, I have not thought about that in a million years. But it was so nice to, like, I'm almost 50 years old, and I'm still talking to people about the time that I like had my period at the ballpark and had to tie a towel on my head. It's just stupid shit like that. You know what I mean? We'll send them out to you. I'm not sure who this is. It says Facebook user. We are definitely going to be sending good vibes out to anyone who needs it, because we love you all and we're so glad you're here. The reason I don't move, it's the reason I don't move. It's hard sometimes. It's dangerous sometimes, but the wealth of the community we have is priceless. And that's what it's about. Lisa, we got you, girlfriend. Lisa Phillips, we got you, girl. We're sending some extra vibes. Got you. Y'all send some extra good vibes to Lisa Phillips. She's needing them. We're going to like focus them, and it's Feel Good Friday. So go back to that Feel Good Friday post. See what can make you feel good today. I love seeing all your feel good stuff. But we are coming into the end of, we're coming into the last month of summer. It's already August. These are the dog days of summer. And school's going back. We're going into August. We're getting these kids ready to go back into school this year. And what I would love to see, one of the things that I'm gonna try to do, we talk about how we do the Munchie of the Month and we give back, right? And I tell people all the time, the Hometown Hippie, our mission is to really do the charitable deeds, right? I'm like Robin Hood. But I can't, I watch the show and I tell this story all the time. It's like, I'll watch the show called Billions on Showtime. It's one of my favorite shows. I just think it's a great show. I love the acting. I love the witty, the sarcasm. I love that kind of like snarky humor. And I love a good plot. It's got a good like plot in it. Very much pieces and parts like chess pieces. And there is a character on there who's very much like a social crusader and has a really big heart and can't sometimes see the forest for the trees. And sometimes there is you have to be able to sometimes you have the moral of the premise was there is like basically you have to play dirty and do the stuff you don't want to do to be able to have the money to do the things you do. So if you want to change the world, sometimes you have to be independently wealthy because you have to be able to affect large change, right? Now my idea of that is a little bit different, but it's kind of the same thing. I'm like, I can't afford to, I have to live, right? I have to live. And I'm glad that I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to hold this up here in a second, okay? Elizabeth Clark, if we could also send her some extra love. She's sick. She's under the weather with the same crap that Carly and Melanie had. So if y'all can please, please, please send her some extra love. We're going to like hope everybody feels better. Everybody's kind of in a place right now where the energy's weird. So we're going to hold space and send love out to all of those who need it. And I just saw Elizabeth Clark's name. Heather had tagged her, so I wanted to make sure we remembered that because she's been on my mind today. And so, as I was saying, right, you want to affect change. And I'm not all about like you have to get your feet dirty to do it, but I do have to find ways in which I can do it through maybe shopping for a cause, right? Because the new moon was last night. And let me tell y'all what, well, today and last night. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second, right? It's a huge energy new moon, but I was talking about, affecting change in the world. And so the reason why I work as hard as I do, and the reason why I am as people say you do a whole lot, like you got your hands in a whole lot. And the reason why I have my hands in a whole lot of things is because I want to be able to have the means to affect the change that I want to have. Now, I don't believe that I have to go out and change the world in different continents, right? I don't believe that I am, and I don't see myself doing that, right? My mom used to always teach me, and so if you're new to the Home Therapy group, if you've been here for a while, we're going to tell you what this is about. She used to always say, charity starts at home, right? And the power of one is all about, you can't change the world. One person can't go out and just wiggle your nose and change the world, but every day you can go out and change the world for one person. And we're going to do that one person, one hometown, one day, one step, one foot in front of the other. The power of one. A lot of you are needing extra love and light, right? And all this goes back to the power of one because you need extra love and light. So I want you to take a deep breath. It takes one breath. And today, the only power that you have to change the world for anybody is for you. And I want you to remember that. And I want all of us here to remember we are a community. So our charity starts at home. The first people that we help are the people who are here in our community. Like Heather said, charity starts at home, her community. She said it's rough sometimes, it's dangerous sometimes, but it's important. And just like it is here, right? We can say we're sending love and light out. We hold space for you, but here's what we're going to ask that you do, right? Can I have a hashtag power of one in the comments, right? If you believe in the power of one. 6 of us here, that's 12 and 24 and 48. It can grow fast. One, it's 8 now, right? And then you share it, you talk to one person and it's 9. And then somebody else and then it's not exactly just doubles. We double our numbers every time. But what I want each and every one of you to know with the power of one, right? The power of one is that don't play yourself lip service. My energy, and I'm talking about the new moon right now, we're rolling right into it, right? My energy has been very, very, very off and very, very, very overloaded. And I've done some work this week and I've gotten myself kind of shored up a little bit, right? A little shored up a little bit. But here's what I'm going to tell you, right? We can't hold space for you if you don't hold space for yourself. And on those days when it's difficult to hold space for anything other than just the tears, what I want you to remember is that you are worth it. And I want you to say is that I am going to do, even if you can't do it today. It's about the power of one. It's about making the decision, right? Making one decision to do one thing better today. You decide to help yourself. You have to hold space for yourself, for us to be able to hold space for you. We can send you out love and light, but you have to accept that. And by accepting that means you have to love yourself. You have to understand that you deserve love and know that we are sending it out and accept it. So whenever you ask for us to hold space, whenever you ask for us to send extra love and light, what I want you to do in that moment is I want you to send that love and light that you have. I want you to send it internal to yourself. I want you to actually do the work, right? And we talk about the power of one all the time and how every day you have the ability to change the world for one person. And we've been talking about the summer of love, and I've been asking and asking and asking and asking. And here's the thing, you don't have to do it. It's just I've been asking. I've been asking to show people examples of whenever you have paid it forward, and that is not to brag about it. It is not to get the credit, and that's what I'm like. I don't ever talk about the things that we do here for braggart rights. I don't do it for bragging. I don't do it for the accolades. I don't say words right, right? I don't do it for any of that. Why I do it is I want to show people how just very small gestures of kindness can make a difference. How, whenever I say pay it forward or the power of one, it is not going out and giving somebody one person your entire paycheck, or always about money. It is about, not everybody has money to give, but we all have kindness to give, and kindness costs nothing. And that's what I was talking about with our Munchie of the Month and our giving campaigns and the power of one, right? Everybody has one of three things that they can offer out into the world. And even if you just have to offer it to yourself, right? Time, talent, or money. Sometimes you give of your money because you can do that, right? Like, this cause needs a dollar bill. I have an extra dollar bill. I'm going to give it an extra dollar bill, right? That's how you give money, right? We give money to things, and that's what does the things for the money. I give money a lot because that's what I can do to make an impact, right? Whenever I'm busy and I don't have time or talent to give, I can then say, here, let me give you some money to affect the change that the people who have talent and time can utilize those funds to be able to make the most impact, right? And in some situations, my my time and talent is not as valuable, right, to them. In other instances, I could give somebody $1 million and it wouldn't be as much and as valuable to them as my time and talent. If they need someone to run a barbecue grill or to cook for an event, and they need a chef to come in and do it and volunteer time, I that's more valuable to them than the money, right? They need somebody to actually do the work. If I have the time and the talent, I can give that. But if I'm not still appropriately emotionally available anytime, I got you. And that's what I'm saying. That time and talent sometimes is a lot more. And when we get into like giving this kids back to school supplies and things like that, right? Some people like, I have to get my kids back to school. I'm struggling right now. We're second straight quarter in this country with economic, shrinkage, and they're not declaring a recession, but that's a whole nother story. But here's the thing, right? Maybe you can't afford to buy a Munchie of the Month box or donate to the Power of One, but you can afford to help stuff backpacks at your local church or your local organization that's giving out backpacks, or they need hands to come and hand out and talk to the kids, or to write notes, or to write letters, or to stuff um, blessing bags, or there's something that you can find to do. So if you're somebody who wants to help and you're like, I don't know how to help, I don't have funds just to donate to other things, don't worry. We at the Power of One Grateful Fed, we are going to have like, I'm going to start collecting monthly from the teachers. I'm asking teachers also to please share your Amazon list in here. Please tell us what your classrooms need. And it might be, we need somebody to volunteer once a month to come in and read to the kids, or we need people to help us do whatever, or it may be something that you 1,000,000,000,000,000% can give of your time or talent. It may not be anything to do with money. These teachers may just need somewhere to feel safe to come and talk about their crappy days and not get attacked, because that's the job that they chose. It's too bad you don't make that kind of money, because teachers get attacked, right? And we have a lot of teachers here in the Grateful Fed, and they give of their time and talent, and they don't make a lot of money. And not only do a lot of these teachers in here do things like teach, because that's a big deal to help their kids. But here's what they're doing. And I'm not going to call anybody's names out, but I know that these teachers are doing these things. We have teachers who are very involved with like other charities. We have some teachers who are very big and very involved in the Farmville, the Southside SPCA. They give their time and talent every weekend to go out after teaching kids and go sit at fundraisers and help the animals and help go feed dogs and cats and clean out stalls, right? We have teachers who say that I have teenagers in my who told me, says, Tammy, I have teenagers in my classroom. And some of these kids, that little lunch that they get, they're still starving. And so the afternoon classes before they go home, they are almost wiped out because they are so still hungry. And a lot of these kids are not going home to a big dinner. And they can't learn if they're hungry. So she puts in an entire table in her back of her classroom with sandwiches and chips and granola bars and snacks, and they can get up during class and make a sandwich and make sure that they're fed. She's like, I can't let my kids be hungry. And she's like, it's half of my paycheck sometimes goes into like going to Costco and buying bread and peanut butter and jellies and things for them to have. She's like, I even got a thing because they like the Uncrustables. She even went and got a thing where she cuts the crust off. I get so overwhelmed. I know another teacher who's got kids in her classroom whose parents were refugees and they have no language skills. The parents are working multiple jobs, but they don't have the resources to be able to get a washer and dryer. They don't know how things work in this country. So she pulled the parents aside and said, hey, let's help get your clothes washed. And she does laundry for these people before and after school to make sure that the kids are clean, they don't get picked on, and that the parents they can come and do their own. She helps them do that. Helps them find resources and goes to the kid and makes sure that, hey, we got extra coats. Who wants an extra coat? So there are ways to help out that don't always require you to like buy a Munchie of the Month box. Now, I love when you buy Munchie of the Month boxes, and I'm excited because I feel like you're getting something for giving, right? You're elevating your medicine, you're helping out, and that's fine. We also have if you want to gift money, you can just forgo anything with Hometown Hippie and go right to the Power of One campaign, and you could 100 million% just donate to whatever charitable cause that we have. And so there's always a way in which you can be a part of the Power of One. And again, I say that every day we have the ability to go out and change the world for one person. And a lot of days, I know the way that the world is right now, the only person that you can change the world for is yourself. But I'm going to tell you this, right? The days that you spend truly living and embodying the Power of One ideals, right? And that means like when you wake up in the morning, if you don't feel like you have anything to pour into others, really doing the work and pouring it into yourself, you'll be amazed at how many days you're going to feel like helping others when you really take the time to focus and take care of yourself first. I think somebody up here said self-care is not selfish, right? You can't do anything but take care of yourself. Do that one thing. Do that one thing, right? Now, it's Friday, and it is the end of the month. It's the end of July. It is the new moon. And for those of you who are like, what? What is that? All that woo-woo stuff about? Let's talk about that for a minute, right? New moon is the manifesting moon. It's the when it's the moon's the darkest, right? That is a time that you can actually like ask the universe as the moon cycle kind of goes around and changes and fills up, and kind of like brings you all the things that you want to do. And I really wanted to. I'm not as good at all of my like sitting down and doing things and manifesting and journaling as I preach, right? As I preach, I need to practice a little bit more about I preach. And after my sessions this week, I really stopped and I was like, today, the Power of One is about me. It's the new moon, and I want to manifest some big things in the new moon. And here's what we're going to talk about, right? We talk about Hometown Hippie and the ethanogenic power of cannabis. And here's what we're going to talk about. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It has been a long week. And show me Facebook users, so let me know who this is. This says good morning, and this says good morning. I'm welcoming everybody here. But tell me in the comments, have you, what are some things that you are manifesting if you want to share? Have you written them down? Have you called them into the universe? Have you tried to really clear out and focus on what it is that you're trying to accomplish over the next 30 days? This goes into the Power of One, right? Is that manifesting and asking the universe for what you want. So when I talk about using cannabis as an ethanogenic experience or as a spiritual tool, um, This is where you really have to pay attention to your usage and how it makes you feel. So, as so many of you do, right? You utilize your baked good, be it a brownie, be it a blondie, be it a lemon pound cake. I can see you now. I can see you now, Amanda. You use those things because the first conversation we have is, hey, Tammy, I need your help. I am a chronic insomniac. I toss and turn all night. I don't get good sleep. I can't go to sleep. And then I wake up exhausted. And sleep is a humongous one. So tell me in the comments, do you use for sleep, right? Is sleep one of the things that you, yes or no? Sleep, one of the things that your cannabis helps you with. One of the things, the first things that I've dealt with, and with a lot of people, is the fact that they have trouble being able to get to sleep and stay asleep. What's up, Billy Ann? Yes, right? What's up, Billy Ann? So sleep is a big one, right? Because what happens, right? Sleep is a huge one because we get to the bed at night. It's the first time that we kind of like relax. And then our brain, oh, yes, I love it. Yes, helps with sleep, right? And pain. Because what happens is we get still and then we get into our brains go crazy, then we fill our bodies. So then we have chronic overnight pain. And if you are using your cannabis, whether it be CBD hemp or your THC or a combination of the two, and I use a huge combination of the two. I use a CBD body lotion. I use Pure Romance CBD massage melt, Epsom salt bath. I use lots of hemp in different ways, and I help you with all of those things: bath bombs, tinctures, rubs, all the things, right? But cannabis or hemp is going to help you, right, to get some sleep. So a lot of times, that's the first thing I work with. That's why the higher dosed overnight relief is made for bedtime, so that you can utilize your cannabis edible or your Reiki infused edible, your hemp infused foods, and you're able to slow down. It is able to help you to, if the intentionality is whatever the end user needs, right? So you take that deep breath. You're like, I'm going to enjoy this cookie. And then within the next 2 hours, I'm going to get the best night's sleep and I'm going to be pain free. Okay. And I know that y'all see me do lives on TikTok and lives in here, and I am just blazed. And I am 21 years old. I am completely legal in my state to get blazed. Um, but the reason that you see that is normally because I try to, when we make a new batch of butters or oils or new recipes, I am going to take whatever the new thing is, even if it's a new batch, even because with infused foods, you have to be careful with that because plants grow different things every time. Like one rose might make 1,000 flowers, and one rose bush might make 10, and the fragrance is going to be different. The terpenes, all the things are going to be different. So whenever you are working with that in a small batch environment, I like to sample test. That's how I pull out and I sample test, right? And when you see that, it's like I can then give my patients, and this is how we dose it. I'm like, here's the deal. A whole one is probably too much. It was too much for me, and I'm a heavy cannabis user. I use it for everything. So when you see that, it's kind of me doing like my, I don't know, spot checking. And, I can ride that wave and it's kind of fun sometimes. And I always say a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, and laughter is definitely the best medicine. So if nothing else, laughing at me helps, then feel better. But I say that because um, part of using your cannabis as an overnight sleep thing, right, is usually these high quality control, right? It's also going to be an opportunity. And I always say I was born of a time whenever they ask us, like, do you know how to swim? Like, I don't know how to swim. Are you going to teach me? They would just throw you in the water and say sink or swim, right? You would learn. So for me, I'm always like, try the whole one, and then you can kind of figure out your dosage from there, what works for you. Well, last night we had, we have just finished we just finished harvesting and drying and curing our Northern Lights medicine, right? Our Northern Lights, which phenomenal, phenomenal, dense, thick, nice bud. We're cooking with straight bud right now, right? Infusing it all in. And I did the a new batch of our favorite 420 cookies, right? So with the new moon manifesting, I was like, I really want to do some new moon work tonight. I really want to manifest. I really wanted to reach an entheogenic experience with my cannabis. And I was 100 million percent able to. What I'm going to say is this: if you are someone who, if you've ordered this week, okay, if you order this week and into next week, I'll keep y'all posted. I'm putting little notes on it. I want you to, if you're eating a whole cookie, I want you to eat a half a cookie. I will not eat another whole 420 cookie with this batch of butter. It was way too big for me, right? But y'all know what 420 cookies do. It opens up the veil. So what it was great to do, if you're someone who uses it for an entheogenic spiritual experience or you're using it, I was able, for the intentionality, right, to say, and I'm going to tell y'all exactly what I said. I actually wrote it down, and I'm going to share it to you, okay? And I wrote this journal down, and it says to share on Wake and Bake. So I'm going to share this with y'all. And I want you to be honest about it, because we all do this, right? It says, tonight I overdid my intake. Trying to counter out all of the turmoil in the world, big new moon energy, Jupiter in retrograde, Lionsgate opening. It's been hectic this week, right? It's been hectic this week. So, but I did my soul work, right? I did the work that I needed to do for me. I'm going to encourage y'all to do the work you need to do for you, okay? And when I felt like it was too much, right? When I felt like it was too much, right? Because it was a lot. It was a very intense medicine. It was very intense, but it was meant to be intense for me last night because I knew, I was like, I need it. I need this entire cookie tonight because the world is weird. And for me to shut my brain down. And when I took that cookie in and I said to this, I said, but I did my soul work and I got up and I felt it like overwhelming me. Like, I was like, this is a lot. This is a lot. It's a lot. I was like, I need to take a breath, right? I was like, okay. And I said, I need to get back into my body. So I got up and I started moving, right? I got up out of my chair and I cleaned the kitchen up and I rearranged everything and I got back into my body. And then I was able to, and I was able to create and I was able to create and manifest and relax and do all the thing, right? And I want to share these manifestations tonight. And I want y'all, if anybody else is looking for, um, I was told to share this with this is what so I was told to share these manifestation mantras that I came up with last night, and these were thanks to a entheogenic experience with my 420 cookies. If you're someone who uses this for sleep, if you're someone who uses this for pain, if you're someone who uses this for a spiritual experience, entheogenic experience to kind of get closer to God, to kind of like look inside to find your inner child or to find your higher self, right? Then I'm gonna read to you what came through with the intentionality of me saying to myself and to my cannabis. So if it does get too big for you, number one, control your breath. I controlled my breath and I said out loud, I was like, it is my intention, right? It is my intention that the hemp that I have ingested in my body, it goes to the right places and does the right things to create the homeostasis in my body. I asked for the magic and the light to go to the places in my body that it needed to go to. My shoulders stopped hurting. I literally could breathe. It was almost like, and I could push it into every place that it wanted. Right? I was using the power of the Reiki that I have learned as a Reiki level 1. I've given in to allowing the light to do its magic and the cannabis to do that and just talking to it like I would you. So if you're someone who uses this, I'm going to encourage you to go out with this is Wake and Bake's all about, some information, right? If you're somebody, when Dennis says, so I need 50 baby bites. Dennis, you need 1,000 baby bites, but not really. What I want you to do is I want you to cut the cookie in half. I want you to eat half of the cookie, but I do want you to do your breath work, and I want you to have some specific intentionality with that cookie. If it's going to be like, I need to get to this like event and like not be stressed out, breathe through it, and I want you to see how setting the intentionality and feeling it and allowing the cannabis to go into the endocannabinoid system and to help create the homeostasis in your body. And that's what I ask it to do. And when I ask it to do that, it literally, it was like the Big Bang went. It felt like an explosion almost in a good way, like kind of like a. This is gonna sound weird. Does anybody remember the gum that you used to bite into, like the freshen up gum, and it had like the goo in the middle, and when you bite into it, like the delicious goo would come out, like a mouth freshening kind of like freshen up, or is that Carefree, something like that? The gooey gum. Everybody know what I'm talking about? When I actually sat down, right, I had my lights lit down and put on my music, my little Serena Flow, my little highly vibrational music, and I took those breaths, and I said to myself, I'm like, it's my intention that this medicine that I have taken and this cookie, right, solidify and fortify my body for the means that I meant it to, as THC and hemp and CBD and CBDN and all the things are working in my endocannabinoid system. I said to it, I'm like, please help create the homeostasis in my body that I know that you are meant to do. And it was like I felt all of my synapses and stuff just kind of coming back online. It was almost like that pop, and then it was like a reboot. It was like a reboot, and all of a sudden these intentionalities and these manifestations came out for the new moon, and then I was told to share. I also had a message that channeled in last night that I shared with somebody else that was a specific message for them, but I wanted to share these with y'all today. Are y'all cool with these intentionalities today? And the first thing that came in was a big thing. It says language is important. Okay. So how you speak to yourself and how you speak to others is very important. And that's including your internal monologue, right? Like that whole, like, I'm stupid. I suck. Oh my gosh. That's so embarrassing inside your head. You're listening. So stop doing that. But here are the new moon manifestations that I came up with. Feel free to take these and use these how you want. So I'm going to go ahead and share this with everybody. Abby, we're so glad that you got to be here. We're going to have this on replay, but I hope that you can hear these manifestations because I think that they're important for everybody. And for me lately, it's been all about an equal exchange of energy, right? And being able to control my energy and being able to maintain my homeostasis despite of, in spite of, right? So the first one is I will hear and be heard in all of my relationships and interactions. I will see and be seen in all my relationships and interactions. I will give and receive equally in all my relationships and interactions. I will honor myself as I honor others, and I will expect others to honor me as they honor themselves in all of my interactions and relationships. I will find balance in the chaos. I will do all of these things with gentleness, ease, and grace. And those are my manifestations for the new moon. And when I thought about what needed to happen over this next, cycle of energy, right? It was about the balance. And I told the other day, anybody else feel like your pendulum swings for here to here, like it's all or none, right? All or none. And I'm a true Libra, and I am like very much craving that balance. I'm very much craving that homeostasis, and that is what Hometown Hippie Elevated Edibles, Reiki infused, magically infused medicine, medical foods is trying to do, right? Not only am I infusing it with the medicines that you need to have the homeostasis in your body, that's free. If you're 21 and up, you get that for free. We gift the medicine, right? But what we charge for is the hands-on Reiki on the magic, the love, all the things. I was watching a show last night that's called Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia, and it's on Vice News, and it's about this guy who travels the globe, look at going out and finding like native and indigenous and Eastern and psychedelics and mind altering. He finds like the frogs, the toads, the mescaline, all those like all the different types of like psychoactive medications, and he goes out and talks about the way people are using it, who practices it, the safety of it, what's actually in it. He's like a chemist. He goes out and sees like where like they make it synthetically, where they messed it up, where it's found in nature. It's very interesting about all of it. So he's in Peru last night on the show. This is after my meditation and all the things came out, and I got a chance. And when I tell y'all I went to journaling last night, this was my This was my first page. I'm not going to show you. I'm just going to show you the pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 pages of journals last night. Um, and I got off when I got done. I went to bed last night. Cut on Vice News, background noise, and he ended up like licking a toad. I mean, taking this like toad venom, which is not, I was like, whatever, dude. I don't yuck anybody's yum, but I'm not going to like a river in Mexico and like letting them like basically drown me in a river and giving me toad venom. I'm like, there's a whole lot of things I'll do. I don't yuck anybody's yum. That is definitely not my yum. But I'll also say that everybody has a different path, and if your path is taking you to a river in Mexico to trust a native with your mental health and the fact that it's like the death of the ego death, and like they say that you like basically have like a reincarnation, like it takes you as close to death as possible and brings you back and you're a new person. I feel like the people who go and do that, I am like, I really hope this works because I feel like they've tried so many other things in their life and they're not finding their happiness or their joy or their purpose. So I always watch this and I'm like, I really, 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 really hope that this works for you. Like, I hope that this is the thing because I'm like, what else have you tried? Right? Where is this path taking you that you're here at this moment? So I am rooting for you, right? I am rooting that I hope that helps you. Um, so, I watched that and I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to figure out what this is in this tree, but I just realized what it was and it's not what I thought it was. So I watched the show and this guy, he was really nervous about like engaging in this and trying this one. Like he's not one to try all of them, but he said his friends like, hey, I love this. It's really made a difference in my mental health. It's really unlocked a piece of me that you have no idea. The medicine just does what it's supposed to do. And it piqued my interest and I was watching it. And when he did this, this story is going somewhere different than you think it is. I promise. It's crazy. Where all that for this little bit of nonsense, but whenever he did they snorted it in his nose and they laid him back and they like run the water over you and all these things, and he was just saying the word love, 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 love over and over and over repeatedly. And so he comes out of it. They have it filmed. Like his eyes were like, I was like, I would never like. He was seizing. I was like, nope, that's not something for me. I need like a hospital nearby. I mean, as much as I rule, I'm like, that's a little bit much for me. But he said that they told him what had happened. And he said, that's really interesting. I'm the most cynical person in the world. I don't even believe in love. He says, he said, this is what he said, I have a local bakery who makes cookies. And he says, I always roll my eyes and I always think that they're ridiculous because they list in all their cookies the first ingredient they list is love. And he said, I thought that was just ridiculous. Like, tell me exactly about this ingredient. He was like really like cynical about like people saying that they do something with like love as an ingredient in it. And he's like, I mean, if I opened a cookie company, I wouldn't list it as an ingredient, but I definitely get the sentiment. And he says, I love the sentiment. It's the care. And he really like it opened his mind to understand care and love and how someone like is so driven and so much about something that they can list love. They know that love is one of the ingredients. This is what makes it special, what makes theirs different. And I was watching that going, I need to list love as an ingredient because that is exactly the special ingredient in my food. And at the end of it, he was writing a recipe down for that toad venom because he thought it was an amazing, like his experience was phenomenal. And there's a synthetic version. He was writing out the recipe for it. And he was like, I told you I wouldn't share the recipe for this one, but he said it's so good, I'm gonna have to. And then he like wrote love. He says, yes, and love is definitely an ingredient. And he wrote love in the ingredient. And I don't know why I watched that show. It was random. I've not seen it before. But it was like all of the all of the things from last night made sense, right? After the CNBC, hear and be heard. It was just like my intuition was just like, and I was talking about like love being in there, and then that happened, and then I was also like intuitively, um, I watch Beat Bobby Flay on the Food Network, and do not judge me for this, right? And I've been trying to work on my intuition a little bit. and I'm trying to pay attention when I'm getting little clues. And so whenever the chefs come out, they have to battle each other before they take on Bobby Flay on the show. So like these like celebrities judges come on and they invite two chefs to cook a thing, and then they decide who wins between that. Whoever wins between that then takes on like Bobby Flay to beat Bobby Flay. Y'all probably seen the show, know the premise. But the two chefs came out last night on this one show, and so the first round, Bobby Flay gives them like a secret ingredient they have to use to like battle each other. And before he pulls out the ingredient, I was like, watch it be like beef tips or like beef stroganoff, right? I was like, watch it be like so I just feel like this girl's gonna make beef stroganoff and whatever he pulls up from behind his back. So he pulls out from behind his back, sorry. He pulls out from behind his back this random ingredient. I think it was like chorizo. And I'm like, well, I guess my intuition is not too good tonight. Maybe maybe this 420 cookie has taken it the other way. I was like, I thought my intuition was gonna be pretty good after my journaling tonight. So I'm sitting there and the girl wins. And then they have to tell their signature dish that Bobby Flay has to cook, their signature dish to battle him. So they get to pick the dish that they make for him to try to beat him. And y'all, if I would have had false teeth last night, whenever that girl told me that her secret dish or her like signature dish was beef stroganoff, I've never seen anybody make beef stroganoff. I don't even know. I haven't had it in years. And I don't know why beef stroganoff, when she walked out, came into my head, and I was like, I'm ridiculous. I'm like, I must be getting the munchies because I love beef stroganoff. I was like, I must be getting the munchies thinking about some beef stroganoff. I like really was like, that was what my head went to. And when she said beef stroganoff, I was like, okay, universe, I hear you. But that's what I'm saying. So take your cues at little places, right? But that is fake. That has been 52 minutes. We have lots to do today. That is what Wake and Bake is all about today. Just about the power of one, about trusting yourself, about remembering that it takes a village, right? It takes a village, and that if you are utilizing your nighttime medicines, make sure that you are setting intentionality. Be a little careful with the new batch. We grew Northern Lights. We are cooking without. We have some trim, but I do the trim and like tinctures and stuff. But the butters right now are being made with pure bud, and it is stronger. So I am going to play with some dosing on that. I will update the dosing. Um, that is one of the things we are working on. I get a lot of questions about the dosing, and it really does. It can go up, it can fluctuate a little bit. That's why I tell you very clearly on everything that we are a small batch bakery. Everything is estimated dosing. But I think that right now, everything made with butter, because it's being made with the Northern Lights butter right now, that's what we have. I'm going to update that on the website and kind of put a disclaimer on that. Before I go, I got to tell you one other thing, right? And if you're watching this, wherever you're watching this from, number one, I appreciate every single one of you. I love every single one of you. Okay. However, stopping by my house is by appointment only. I told y'all I'd tell y'all some crazy stuff that happened last night. Randomly last night, an entire family just stopped by my house to go shopping. And I love it. And they were very nice people and everything is fine. Do not, like, if you're watching this and you're that very nice family that I met last night, you didn't know, right? You don't know what you don't know till you know. We will be updating the website that says by appointment only. I am not a storefront. We're working on getting a storefront. We are working on that. However, please don't do a dropsy buy, right? I would appreciate a heads up. Appointment only. I can have the things ready if you want to come see things. That's fine, but I need to make an appointment. So I will update that because we were really taken aback last night when this whole like band of people showed up, and I was like, "What in the world?" I was like, "That is crazy." I was like, "I know." I was like, "I know," but we got it straight, so no big deal. It's all good. But I was like, "No harm, no foul." But yeah, so that was a little like, what? So I want y'all to go out this weekend, right? I want you to have a beautiful, blessed weekend. Sorry, that was coming. I couldn't help it. I want you to have a beautifully blessed weekend. I want you to remember to be the change that you want to see in the world. You don't have to go out and change the world. Charity starts at home, right? If all you can help is yourself, then help yourself this weekend. But here's another thing, right? Literally, do the work. Help yourself. Don't just play yourself lip service. Do the work for you to feel better. If you need us, reach out. We love you. I'm hoping to have a new episode of How the Cookie Crumbles with a guest in studio coming out next week. So be on the lookout. I got a couple of people I would love if you would be interested in being on the podcast. You can do it virtually. We can go on to Zoom. We record it. We upload it. No big deal. So if you'd be interested in being a guest on the podcast or would be interested in doing that, please let me know. I would love to have you. You got a topic you want to talk about, something you want to say. It's all about the Grateful Fed. I'd love to bring you along for the ride. So on that note, let me just see if there's anything else we have to go over with over here, anything we need. Um, Munchie of the Month boxes, 2222. Last month for July, you got a couple of days left. I think we got like 2 boxes left. We've had some last minute orders of this. Munchie of the Month boxes, 2222. Right now until August 1st, they are the citrus macaroons, which are divine. And then starting in August, they will be the animal crackers. We have raffle spots available. Next Friday is when this raffle is. We've got 1 week to fill this up. We've got like 19, 20 spots left. It's 50 shots. It's $20 a ticket. You get the Baby Monster Grow Light, the Autopot Hydroponic 2-pot system, a 3x3 AC Infinity Grow Light, all the soil, the Coast of Maine, really good soil that goes in there that's specifically for growing, your nutrients, your seeds, and a 12-week class on taking your plants from seed to the table. So we'll show you how to germinate, we'll show you how to grow, we'll show you how to trim, we'll show you how to cure, and then I will show you how to infuse it into your favorite oil or tincture or butter, and then we'll take you all the way through a batch of cookies on the table so that you can learn how to take care of yourself, because in Virginia, or in a state that's legal, you can 100% grow up to 4 plants right now, right? And take care of your own medicine. Maybe you don't want to. Maybe you want to work with me as your concierge. We'll do some stuff. I'll gift it, whatever. But if you want to start doing it yourself and taking care of yourself, then I can help you learn how to do that. Because if I feed you, you eat for the day. But if you learn to cook, you can eat forever, right? Fishing parable. I love to feed you all, and I would love to continue to do it. But I just want to make sure that if you need to know how, that you have the resources. Heaven forbid you don't have me. You'll be able to take care of getting your sleep, getting your pain relief, getting your anxiety relief, all the things. So if you've not grabbed your ticket, please grab your ticket. There's a post, there's numbers available. I also want to say this. If you're someone who's like, I'm not really going to grow, I don't want to do that, I'm going to say this. If you would like to donate and buy a ticket and do it as the charity ticket, you can buy a charity ticket. And I'll just say charity. I won't put, I can put your name that you donated the ticket. I have a veteran, and he and his family, he uses cannabis as his medicine, and they are on a very tight budget, and he's got to grow what he uses for medicine, and he could use like a quality setup and some quality seeds to help him grow his medicine. He gifts it to other veterans. He's a very worthwhile person to support. I would love to be able to, maybe if somebody wants to buy a ticket to gift, I'm going to buy a ticket for charity myself and pick a number. And so if you want to buy a charity ticket for $20, if you're like, somebody's like, hey, I don't have it, but if you want to help me to like maybe give this to this person, I would love to be able to gift this to them as a give back, as a thing. So anybody's interested in that, let me know. But on that note, I'm gonna go up here and get things going today. It's peace, love, and feast. And as always, y'all, stay elevated. I'll see y'all Sunday.